This game is not boring. This was not a boring game. I know. I know that Ivory Coast and Ecuador, it ended up as 1-0 game, but we knew that it was going to end up as a 1-0 game, guys. We knew that this was going to end up as a 1-0 game. Why are we shocked? Why are we surprised? We should not be. We have two informed team going against each other, bro. This is not USA versus Paraguay. This is not Germany versus Curacao. This is Ivory Coast versus Ecuador. Who everybody who knows anything about this FIFA World Cup, we know these two countries are one of the countries that you have to look out for. People rank Ecuador as a dark horse to that team that could knock off a giant in in the World Cup. Everyone look at Ivory Coast as that team that could do the unthinkable of making it as far as possible and also giving any giant team, right, any heavy favorites a a run for the money. That's what this two side was, man. What's up, guys? This is Hash Black here. I'm here to talk about the game between Ivory Coast versus Ecuador, right? We've had a lot of good games so far. Germany versus Curacao was a goal fest, felt like I'm sure the Germans was gooning to the fact that Germany scored 7 goals, right? Almost a repeat of 2014. We had Netherlands versus Japan, which I think, in my opinion, was the of the day best game of the day, right? And then we have Ivory Coast versus Ecuador, which was the two toughest teams going against each other, which ended up as Ivory Coast winning the game, beating Ecuador thanks to Amad Diallo scoring at the 90th minute, bro. But first, let's go back to the beginning of the game and let's talk about what went down and how Ivory Coast ended up getting this win, right? First, we saw how Ivory Coast came out with a 4-4-2, right? And then you have Ecuador coming with a 3-4-3 formation, right? Ecuador came with 3-4-3 formation, playing a back three, but also trying to suffocate the midfield and the flanks as much as they can. And honestly, in the first half, I think Ecuador did exactly that. Ecuador, thanks to Moises Caicedo, Yeboah, Vite, they did a very good job trying to suffocate and stop any progressive ball movement from the Ivorians, man, from Ivory Coast, man. I did not know that Caicedo was this good. I know that his progressive distribution was so good, but man, Caicedo was amazing to me, bro. He shut down Kessie, he shut down Fofana, right? I think he made Nicolas Pepe and why he like obsolete, made them useless, right? He was also capable of doing some progressive passing to his front line. And I think this is where the biggest issue of Ecuador was, right? I talked about this when I was doing my World Cup prediction, guys. I mentioned this. Ecuador front line is the weakest part of this team. Just wingers and strikers are the weakest part of this team, bro. If you look at the past couple games, they barely score more than 2 goals, and that is a very big issue. Especially when you come in this World Cup, you need to be very solid at your front line, at your midfield, and at your back line. And Ecuador has a very good back line, a very good midfield, but the front line sucks ass. Why? Because they hit the crossbar 2 times and they could not score a goal, bro. That was the most shocking part about it for me, right? You look at the Ivorians playing the physical 4-4-2. I wondered why they had to do that, right? They tried, I guess the plan was to break wide and exploit the isolation on the flanks, right? Which was obviously you had Diomande. I think everybody has been so excited about him. Everyone has focused a lot about him. And honestly, Diomande delivered, man. Jan Diomande showed how good this guy is going to be. He's 19 years of age, and he showed how good he's going to be. I know that his stock is going high, bro. I'm telling you guys better put your money on this guy, man, because his stock is going high right now, bro. From the first half into the second half, he could not be contained. Hincapie could not contain Diomande, bro. Diomande was cooking Hincapie, bro. That motherfucker had him doing the spin around, bro. He was spinning him around like a rollerblade, man. Spinning Hincapie like a belt blade. Dribbling, his progressive dribbling was probably the biggest reason why Ivory Coast was able to have the opportunities to do some damage in the first half and do some damage in the second half until Diallo came on from the bench. And I have to tell you, shout out to Diomande, bro. In the first half, I still have to talk about that as well. The Ecuador needs to find a way to be clinical, bro. Because that first half, there was such a good team, man. They played really good football, bro. They dictated the game. They had the high value opportunities to score, right? Hitting the crossbar 2 times, like I said, right? Kessie, Sesko, Fofana, they struggled so much in the midfield to stop Caicedo, and they could not do that, man. Right? 46 minute, 1-2, right? Beat Fofana, had a chance to score the goal, struck the post. 52nd minute, bro. Ivory Coast, yes, they answered right back. Shout out to Diomande, trying to do some pinpoint crossing, right? 56 minutes again, bro. You had Ecuador with a low block, bro. There you go. Bang. I'll be straight up real with you guys, bro. It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a long night if Ecuador cannot find a way to score. Second half, was a bit of a back and forth. I think Ecuador they kind of died down. They allowed the Ivorians to get back into the game, and I think the Ivorians was finding their feet and finding more of the form in the second half. Right. I think they had more depth from the bench. They had more game changers from the bench than Ecuador had. Man, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Right. Ivory Coast had Amad Diallo who played for Manchester United. They have Ibrahim Sangare, who's a very good player as well. Um, they have Boni, right, who's also a solid player as well. And I look at Ecuador team, I'm like, the only person I know from the bench is Kendry Paez, and he's a 19-year-old kid that I don't think is going to be able to do much as well, in my opinion. Right, plays for River Plate in Argentina. But what else was it I have to say? I feel like right now Ivory Coast is showing why they're all going to finish top two as I predicted them to do. I predicted this team to finish top two, and honestly, guys, they are looking that way. This team is looking that way, man. 90th minute, right? Center back, Singo, however you say his name, bro. Wilfred Singo, 25 years of age. He played for Galatasaray, right? He plays for Galatasaray. He won the league in Turkey. Came out there bombing forward. Like I said, guys, I feel like Ecuador was kind of a bit tired, right? Because a center back to run like a winger, he occupied that wing. For a center back to run like that, get inside towards the edge of the box, square the ball to Diallo, and bang, shoot the ball in, and it's a goal. 1-0 to Ivory Coast. Now, I will be honest with you guys, right? To be fair, Amad Diallo, like I said earlier, is a Ivory Coast have quality players from the bench. When you have someone like Amad Diallo coming in, bro, right? And he's fresh. He has fresh legs. There's nothing the Ecuadorians can do. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, bro. There was nothing Pacho could do, or Dones could do, right? The back of Ecuador could not do much, and I felt like the coach should have switched the game into a back four, right? Yes, it's a 3-4-3 formation from back three to a back five, but I think she'll switch it to a back four to add more solidity and still be able to play through Caicedo because Caicedo was amazing to me in my opinion, bro. I would not say that he's the best player when you include both teams. I think Diomande is the best player of the team, although Single might win man of the match because he a center back creating the assist while also keeping a clean sheet is definitely man of the match worthy, in my opinion. Right now, I think there's no cause for alarm for Ecuador. There is no cause for alarm for Ecuador. What Ecuador has to do right now is take this loss on the chin and on, focus your game on Curacao. I think Ecuador can be able to beat Curacao. They have to get 3 points against Curacao, and then this group is gonna be open. I feel like a lot of people are focusing so much on Group I. People are not focusing so much on Group E. People are not realizing that Germany, Ivory Coast, and Ecuador is gonna be a tough game. It's gonna be a very, very big game, right? So this is gonna be very, very insane, man. Really, really excited about this. You guys tell me what you guys think. Ash Black is here. I'm about to be out. I need you guys to join me on Twitch. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later, y'all. Peace out.